What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of The Never Ever Mets. This is season 2, episode 7. The episode is titled Sex, Lies, and Everything on Tape. And y'all, let's get right into it. So, we first start the episode off with Clay and Tatiana being extremely lovey-dovey in bed, right? It is very clear that at this point, they have, gone to the intimacy suite, done their thing, and yeah, they think they in a good spot, right? The whole world is about to come crashing down on Tatiana real quick, okay? But here's the thing. We jump over to Jay and Cinco, right? And they're just talking, Jay's doing Cinco's hair, and they just gossiping. Baby, one thing about Cinco and Jay, they are going to gossip together. And I feel like that is what keeps them strong in this competition. I don't really want to call it competition, but this experience is that, baby, they sit up there and they gossip about these people. Nonetheless, they are talking about the fact that Clay got drunk one night. Tatiana had already went to bed, and he decided to just yap about his best friend. And here's the thing. Of all the friends that he could have brought on this show, his best friend is a girl, okay? Not only that, he mentioned that, she's 5'11", she's this, that, another. But the main thing that we want to pull from this is that she's supposed to be a corn star, okay? My question is she actually a corn star, or does she do OnlyFans? But nonetheless, his words, not mine. My thing is, I don't care who your best friend is. I don't care what gender they are. Her profession has nothing to do with these people that's on this show. So why did you think that you need to bring that up? But also, I feel like with the way Clay acts on this show, he has this braggadocious look at me type of air about him. And this was just another moment for him to be like that. Because think about it, all the times that they would do challenges and how he was being extra and he was just like he was doing too much. No different here. You over here saying, oh yeah, my best friend's coming to town. Oh yeah, but she's 5'11". She's 5'11", and she's this and she's that. Like, why are you bigging her up so much? Okay, that's giving weird. Okay, moving on from there. We can clearly see that Tatiana is going to be blindsided because I don't even think that she knew that this man's best friend was a girl. I really don't. The same way he kept that baby in the dark, he kept this information about his best friend in the dark. Now we switch on over to Brittany and Kiki having a conversation. And honestly, neither one of them are actually interested in the men that they brought on this show. And also on top of that, they have no plans on being intimate with either man. Brandon, don't expect nothing out of Kiki. And Ty, you don't have a chance with Brittany. Sorry to tell you, buddy. Honestly, I just kind of feel like a lot of the women here, they like the attention that these men gave them online. Like, it was cool. They're sending text messages or video messages and all of that. However, they are not attracted to these men now that they've seen them in person. And also, they are treating this show like a vacation from whatever they got going on back at their house. And I feel that way for the majority of this cast. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and move on because we got to get to the drama. So Chris goes to open up the door and Chris's best friend is there. It's a girl by the name of Jamila. And to me, she just like some regular looking girl. Nothing special. Clay ends up coming into the room. And when she sees him, she runs up to him like a person who is like picking up a long distance relative from the airport. I'm like, girl, what are we doing here? So she ends up jumping up and he caught her. And here's my thing. Do I think that she actually wrapped her leg around him? No, I kind of feel like the way she jumped up on him, she didn't know what the hell to do with her leg. Like, that's what it was giving. It was giving she jumped up. Maybe the way that he caught her, she was going to be off balance. I don't know. But I will say, okay, you hugged him, whatever. That should have been it. For me, it was given way too touchy-feely because not only did she jump up and hug him, she also hugged him from the side. She had also hugged him again. It was like, oh my gosh, Clay. And then she went on to like wrap her arm around him. So I'm just kind of like, girl, why are you so touchy-feely with this guy? That's a little weird. Actually, that's a whole lot of weird. Now, what's crazy about this situation is that the peanut gallery, aka the rest of the cast, is like laughing about this, y'all. And I mean like full on laughing hard as hell about this situation. And I'm just like, yo, y'all are wilding. Like literally you can see Brittany look at Tatiana way and she's like busted up laughing. Like, girl, you were literally laughing in Tatiana's face. That's cold as hell. So, here's the thing. As the cast are laughing about this situation, things kept escalating. And what I mean by this is that it went from, oh yeah, she wrapped her leg around him. Oh yeah, she jumped and then like he picked her up and she had both legs wrapped around him. It was like playing a game of telephone. And I was just like, okay, y'all doing all of this, cracking all these jokes. And nobody's going to be like, all right, Tatiana, like, girl, go see what's going on with your man and his best friend real quick. Like, nobody did that. And that pissed me off. And at this point, you know, Tatiana had overheard everybody laughing. And she's like, oh, what y'all laughing about? The only person to tell her what was going on was Jay. The only freaking person. Like I told y'all, Brittany literally laughed in Tatiana's face because she's the one who actually saw what happened. And for me, I'm just like, yo, none of y'all are really girls. And that's a problem for me because y'all have not been a girl's girl this entire time. The fact that y'all let this man have this baby and just parade around town love bombing this girl. Nobody stepped in. Nobody said nothing. I'm not expecting that from the men, but at least from the women, you ain't even got to go into detail. Just be like, hey girl, like I heard something. Maybe you should talk to your man. Or here's the thing, because honestly, the type of person that I am, I probably would have approached Clay and been like, listen, I heard about your secret. I heard you have a secret child. You have until the end of tonight to tell her about this said baby, or I'm going to tell her. Because what you're not about to do is play in her face the way you're doing. Like, come on. At this point, I feel like the only girl's girl is Jay. Because at least she did tell her what was going on. So, I forgot to mention that before Tatiana found out about this hug, Clay did introduce the two women. And honestly, I feel like Tatiana was already feeling away. Because like I said, I don't think that she knew that Jamila was his best friend. I don't think that she was like, oh, you know, his best friend is coming to town. Like, her whole energy shifted. Like, it was very, very strange. Because the way they said hello to each other, it was very dry. And honestly, y'all, usually when we see two women that are introduced to each other, they kind of do this thing where they like give each other compliments. You know what I mean? It's always like one girl bigging the other one up and vice versa. For example, usually it would be like, oh, hey babe, this is my best friend Jamila. We go way back to like when we were kids. And usually how it will go is one of them will be like, oh my gosh, you're so pretty. You know, I love your hair. I love your style. Like, usually girls like big each other up a little bit. But not these. Not these girls at all. Like, Tatiana was very dry and was like, okay, all right, nice meeting you, bye. Like, Jamila didn't say much. I'm just like, that's real interesting. Now, we actually see Clay go talk to his best friend. Now, according to him, she is the godmother of his daughter, and she knows everything that has happened with him. And basically, he told her that, he's yet to tell Tatiana about the baby. So she's like, what do you mean you haven't told her about the baby? Like, you should have told her that already. Now, back in the house, y'all, at this point, everybody was blowing this up. Tatiana has just found out about this hug. Well, baby, Tatiana, she decided to sashay her way right on outside and confront this situation head on. And here's my thing. She comes outside and she's like, oh, so you jumped in his arms? You jumped into his arms after I walked away? And it's like, girl, no, she jumped in his arms when she walked in. Not after y'all met, first of all. And I just kind of feel like Tatiana was coming in hot, and I completely understand because she feels like this man has been playing in her face. However, her energy was all wrong and directed to the wrong person. Because I feel like in that conversation, she was so busy being my man. Girl, the issue is really with your man and not even this girl. Because literally, when Tatiana was going off saying, you hugged him like that, what type of girl does that? And the girl was like, you don't want me to hug him? Okay. Everything Tatiana said to her about what she did not like, the girl was like, okay, as if she was just like stepping back, not trying to like step on anybody's toes, nothing like that, right? I will say that about the girl Jamila. She said, okay. It seemed like she was going to take it and be like, you know what? I'm not jumping on Clay anymore. That's the vibe that I was getting. However, for me, I think that things really changed when Tatiana decided to say that this girl was a dumb hoe. No. She was a stupid hoe, and she was also a dumb bitch. Like, Tatiana, I understand that you are upset, but calling that girl out her name, yeah, I feel like that probably caused even more of an issue. Because after that, when Tatiana goes in the house, the girl is like, so that's who you want to be, like a mother figure to your daughter? Like, she's doing a lot. And honestly, Clay was sitting there stuck on stupid. Stuck on stupid because he didn't know what to do with himself at all. And Clay, I was just like, some point, you gotta send this girl home and go talk to Tatiana, and that's who you want to be with. Also, I feel like at this point, he has never seen this version of Tatiana. So he's shaking in his boots and he don't know what to do with that. So he eventually sends Jamila on her way. And honestly, y'all, even in that conversation, I'm just like, why do y'all use the term best friend so often? It reminds me of when I was in, not college, but I was in high school. When I was in high school, there was girls who used to be like, that's my best friend to some guy, right? It was always best friend. Whole time they was fucking, they best friend. That's the vibe that I'm getting with these two. But also, it kind of makes me wonder if Jamila is a lesbian. Like, it's low-key giving that in the grand scheme of all of this, Jamila may be a lesbian, and that could be the plot twist, because she may not even want Clay. Nonetheless, I will say this: in the grand scheme of this whole situation, okay, was the hugging and all of that extra? Yes. However, do I think that they could have moved on after Tatiana went out there and told the girl she didn't like it? Yes. I think, again, once Tatiana called that girl out her name, that pretty much was really over. That was dead. But also, I'm just thinking, if these people say that they've been friends since they were kids, right? And you've only been talking to this man for what? a couple of months. I personally do think that it is very weird sometimes that we expect for people to completely change dynamics and drop their friends that they've had for decades at this point because they're in a relationship. Because, baby, your relationship may not even work out. For example, like this one, Tatiana and Clay, they are not going to work out at all. Yet the expectation is for him to completely drop his best friend who he's been rocking with for years. I always find that to be very interesting. But nonetheless, y'all, why did Clay get the girl out the house and then go talk to the men? I'm like, why are you going to talk to these men? I realize that Clay cannot think for himself because he has mentioned how, he got to talk to his best friend or he need his best friend here for him to tell Tatiana about the baby. Then he goes over to the men so that way he can bounce some ideas off of them, or should I say, let them dictate what he does next. Sir, do you have a brain upstairs? Do you know how to use it? No? Okay, fine. So he finally goes over there to talk to this girl after all the guys are like, dude, you haven't went over there to apologize. What are you doing? He goes over there, tries to apologize, but then he brings up his best friend, and Tatiana's like, don't mention that girl. Don't bring her up. And at this point, he's like, okay, fine. Let me go ahead and tell her about the baby, y'all. He tells her about the baby. And I hated Tatiana's response. I hated it. Because she was, again, so busy being a my man girly that for me, she didn't put enough heat on the baby. She said, I don't even care about the baby, but you got this girl out here, she embarrassing me. I'm like, girl, that man just told you that he has a baby and you asked no further questions? Girl, at that point, I thought she was done. Because I'm like, if she asks no further questions about this situation, then she's absolutely done with this man. All right, y'all. So after all of this is going down, we get a knock at the door, and it is Tatiana's mother. Yeah, her mom came to the show, and I felt so bad for Tatiana because when she saw her mom, she, walked up to her, gave her a hug, and she's just like crying. You know what I mean? Because, like, this is a lot to be going through in a short span of time. So, her and her mom talk. She tells her mom about Clay and how he be lying and how he brought his friend over and the fact that he has a baby. So, Clay comes in or whatever, introduces himself, and then Tatiana kicks him out the room. Now, Tatiana, her and her mom, they are like, Tatiana deserves the best, right? And I feel like after this conversation, that was when Tatiana really should have just went to her room and started packing her bags. Because, baby, you already know that you deserve better than this man. Ain't no way it would have been any more conversation. All right, so next thing you know, we actually see Jared and Charlie talking in bed. And they're talking about the situation with Tatiana and Clay. However, the only thing I got from that is the fact that Jared has been married before, and for him, once the honeymoon phase is over, he's ready to drop that woman. So, Charlie, get ready because he's about to drop you. Moving on. Okay, so then we see a clip of Cinco and Brittany, right? They're sitting in the kitchen, and there's other people around, but Brittany's over here trying to tickle Cinco. And Jay is like, it's hella weird that she be trying to be touchy-feely with everybody else, man, but hers. And honestly, that's weird, but we all know at this point that Brittany does not like Ty. She don't. So I want her to go ahead and pack up your bags, because you don't like this man. But moving on, we see that Tatiana has taken the roses that Clay has gotten her, and she decided to put F-U right at the doorway, okay? Literally says F-U spelled out with roses in front of the doorway. So that way Clay can see how she really feels. Now, the first people to notice this was Jay and Cinco, followed by Clavassier. Alright, now I have to be a little honest. Once we got to like the roses scene and then to the next scene, Tatiana, you are absolutely giving toxic. You and Clay together would never be a good match. I just gotta be honest. Even if y'all were able to try to fix this, y'all would still be a horrible match. So at one point, we do see Clay and Tatiana have a conversation. He over here apologizing, and Tatiana, she feels like he chose his friend over her. And he absolutely did. So then she gets the bright idea to say, well, I want you to call her and tell her that she was wrong. And you're going to put the phone on speaker because I need to hear everything that's being said. I said, okay, Tatiana, you are really trying to control this situation. And it is something that you should just let go. Like, you don't have to be here with this man. There is nothing more for you to hold on to. He has played in your face. Come on now. So he ends up calling Jamila, and he's like, the hug, it was too much. And Jamila is like, well, this is how we've always hugged since we were 7 years old. So Tatiana, she goes off, okay? She's like, girl, don't play dumb. Tatiana tried to involve the other housemates because she was like, yeah, because y'all saw her wrap her legs around him. Didn't y'all see that? Didn't y'all see that? Y'all, nobody piped up. Everybody acted like they were not being called to the front, okay? I said, y'all being nosy now, but when she trying to get some backup, y'all are nowhere to be found. Crazy work. So the girls are going back and forth on the phone. At this point, keep in mind, Clay is holding the phone, but the girls are going back and forth, taking jabs at each other, and Clay ain't saying nothing. Like, he's literally stuck on stupid, not saying anything. So Tati is yelling to this man, you got 5 seconds to tell this girl that it was wrong. Tatiana, baby, you're going out bad. Like, there is no way we should have even gotten to this point. You should have had your bags packed last night. Because at the end of the day, baby, if my mom's coming to town, knowing my mom, she would have been like, all right, girl, let's go ahead and get our bags packed and we get up out of here. Point blank in the period. So at one point, this is after the conversation. Oh, I forgot to mention, Clay does finally tell this girl that she was wrong, but he was practically whispering over the phone. And what's her name, Tatiana, she ends up calling him the B word. And I'm just like, yeah. When Tatiana goes into like an argument, she is going to hit low and she's going to call you out your name. Straight up. She did it with the girl Jamila. Now she's calling him out his name. That's just what she does. Now, moving on from there, we have Kiki and Tatiana. They have a conversation, and basically, Tatiana is like, yeah, I'm kind of looking at ways that I can be petty towards him, and then we're going to go to therapy. Girl, no. You don't have to be petty at this point. Let karma be petty. And then as far as you want therapy, for what? What are we doing here? But moving on from there, we actually see Ty and Brittany, and they go to his apartment so that he could cook her some crab legs. I'm like, what is going on? You could have did this at the house. But I guess it's so that way the others, they won't interrupt them. And here's my thing, y'all. Like, this girl didn't even want to kiss this man. She didn't want to look at this man. She just wanted her crab legs in peace. And I can't lie, I kind of gave it a side eye because I'm like, why does it seem like the only thing that this man has to offer you is plates of food, number one. Number two, why did y'all have a date going back to his house? But I just realized something. On this show, they do kind of keep them cramped in the house. And it's like, I can see why there's always so much drama and how these people get sick of each other. Like, let them go on dates. Like, honestly, I get that he likes to cook for her, but they could have really went to like a seafood boil restaurant. We could have wrapped this right on up. Now, I know that some people, they said that, he was trying to get her in his bedroom. I don't even think that was a possibility. I don't think that he wouldn't even be able to get intimate with her at his apartment because, number one, I feel like there may be some type of liability clause because they are no longer in the setting of the house. Like, there's no cameras in there like there is in the intimacy suite. Yeah, I don't think that was gonna happen. But moving on, we see this counseling session, okay? Within this counseling session, she goes on to say, this is Tatiana, she feels like he's always lying and how, he's this, that, another, but he's also still a great guy. And I'm just like, girl, what are you talking about? This man has consistently lied to you since the beginning. And what's crazy to me is that, okay, you met his friend, you don't like her, but the kicker is the fact that you now know that he has a baby and you didn't even bring that up because you are so busy worried about Jamila. Like, priorities, sis, priorities. How do you not have any questions about that baby? Like, honestly, I want these counselors to be honest with these people and just say, you know what? Y'all need to wrap this up. This ain't going nowhere. So, the counselor, she did call Clay out saying that, when things get tough for him, he just kind of freezes. And that's absolutely what he does. That man will freeze in a second and he don't know what to do with himself. Anytime the conversation is about to get tough. Now, again, Tatiana is talking about how she, can't trust this man. Then let it go, baby. Let it go. You gotta let him go. We actually see Chris' cousin and Alexis' friend come by the house. Alexis is still trying to make it to the intimacy suite, but baby, it ain't gonna happen. Chris, his cousin basically told Alexis that she gotta fix her attitude. And we also learned that Chris wants her to lose weight. Chat, I guess. Moving on. Clay and Tatiana, they're playing chess, right? And this whole time, he has been subtly trying to touch her, right? Like, lean in, hold her hand, any of those lovey-dovey things. She ain't here for it, right? Like, at a certain point, it's like, sir, just keep your hands to yourself. And here's the thing. They have a conversation, and y'all, I cannot tell y'all what they talked about. Because I was so distracted and disturbed by his booty crack hanging out. I said, oh no. Sir, you don't feel that breeze? You don't feel all that air back there? I cannot. Moving on, y'all. Everybody has dinner together. And at this point, tensions are high when it comes to Clay and Tatiana. Now, he ends up telling his boys that he's about to leave. And they're just like, no, you need to wait it out. You need to wait it out. Honestly, y'all, the only thing I hated about this is that Tatiana wasn't the one to make the decision to pull the plug. But I'm sorry, I would not want to see another week of Tatiana and Clay going back and forth with this. So I'm kind of glad that they went home. So basically, he ends up pulling Tatiana to the side because he already started packing his bag. And he's like, I don't want you here wasting my time. And then she ends up calling him a man baby. Again, baby, Tatiana is going to call you something. And she tells him that, he needs to let her know if he wants to go home. His response was, well, I already started packing. Baby, this whole argument is stupid. Because at this point, it's very clear she's not rocking with him. He wants to go ahead and leave. However, I feel like she wanted to finish out her vacation. Like I said, the girlies here are on vacation. So I feel like because, she not giving him no play and no attention, he wants to go ahead and cut her little vacation trip short to be petty. So, one thing that I want to point out is the fact that, did y'all hear when Chris was talking to Alexis and he was like, these folks basically hyped up these legs being wrapped around this man? Like, why would you even take advice from any of them? Because it sounds like, they kind of played on y'all relationship. And I do understand where he's coming from because, again, these same people will sit over here laughing in this girl's face, but want to be like, oh yeah, Tatiana, what's going on with you and Clay? Like, y'all ain't cool. Moving on from there, Jared, of all people, has the audacity to say that Clay is, pulling a bitch move. And I'm just like, well, this whole situation is ridiculous, number one. But also at the same time, you're about to pull one as well. You're about to pull a bitch move because at this point, you don't want to be with Charlie anymore. We're just waiting for that cookie to crumble. Okay? Now, in the overall scheme of this situation, y'all, I'm so pissed off that Tatiana was not the one who made this decision. Like, girl, after you found out about that baby, that's when you should have been like, a baby? Oh, baby, it's a wrap. It is a wrap. We don't need to move forward anymore. But that's not what we got, okay? Y'all, Clay has a lot of growing up to do. And at the same time, Tatiana has her flaws as well. But the way that man just lies, and how he waits on other people to form an opinion for him so that he can repeat whatever they said is crazy. But y'all, let me know what y'all thought about it. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will talk to y'all in my next review. Bye, guys.